My name is Nickel Nickel, aka the Necromancer of Dead Memes, aka the Professional Spanish Speaker, aka the Melee-only Lucio. And there has been some crazy Overwatch findings. It goes so much deeper than last time. After the last Overwatch video, I genuinely thought that was the last time we'd be talking about this because the code was either a tiny nod to the players or maybe even just forced into interpretation by the community when there might not have been anything there. I still thought there was, but who knows? Now, with even more having been uncovered, it looks like there is basically no doubt that this is for real and confirms a lot of what was said in the last video. Okay, before we start, here's a quick recap of what we talked about last time so you'll have some context on the new findings. Here we go. Ana Amari had just been announced as the first newly added character to the game, which is Pharah's mother, the support sniper. In her origins video lore, she teaches Pharah some martial arts, only shown but not spoken about. And then one day she's trying to outsnipe a Widowmaker but hesitates and gets shot in the eye instead. Everyone thought she was dead, but she survived. This is why she wears the eye patch now. It was in Ana's origin video that we saw a brief flash of code, and it was very brief. This code led us to more information potentially for Sombra, who had previously only been mentioned in Dorado, via the classified file that says Sombra on it, the newspaper article that says Quien es Sombra, the computer screen that has the text, Acceso no atrasado, protocolo Sombra, and one of Reaper's quotes that says, "Where's Sombra when you need her?" Anyway, in the Ana Origins video, the incredibly brief flash of code that shows up on screen was translated by someone named Zapu using the X O-ring with the constant of 23 to decode these characters into Ra, la que tiene información, tiene el poder, which is obviously in Spanish. Once translated into English, it becomes Ra, she who has the power has the information. And the idea there that we were toying around with was that maybe the constant needed for decoding being 23 might have been because Ana was the 22nd Overwatch character and Sombra maybe is the 23rd. And the speculation of who Sombra might be if it wasn't Ana took us to the Dorado cinematic where we only really have two characters, 76 and Alejandra. So I thought maybe the hero cinematic was actually a few years in the past when Alejandra was a younger girl before the power plant was built, but she would eventually grow up to be Sombra. In the comments of the video, a lot of people were saying that it might have been Alejandra's mom, even though she was off screen the whole cinematic. We only hear her voice. Other people were saying, well, why does she need to be older? What if that was present day, and Sombra is just a really young girl? Why does she need to be an adult? And then, because Reaper says, "Where's Sombra when you need her?" most people seem to assume that they work together, that Sombra and Reaper work together, which might rule out Alejandra because of her age. But I've been thinking about this, and there very well could be a lot more to the story to give meaning to that quote. For example, if they were enemies, he could be joking, saying that she's the weakest one, or that she's notorious for giving away their location, or some other lore-specific thing that we aren't aware of yet. It could really be anything since we don't have the complete story. It could even be something like him taunting Soldier 76, since Soldier 76 obviously has a relationship to Alejandra. I don't know. I think that we don't have enough information to take the Reaper quote at face value. At least, not yet. Something that was pretty interesting too that I saw was that in the message it says Ra que la tiene información, tiene poder. I mentioned that the Ra was thought to be the second half of Sombra, but I saw some other people that thought that it meant the last two letters of Alejandra, which they claimed might tie them together even further. And one final thing that I read that I thought was interesting was that some people believe that Sombra might actually be an Omnic for a few reasons, but maybe I'll save that for another video if you guys are interested. Okay, so this is where it gets crazy. A few days after I put up the previous video, the official Overwatch YouTube account put up a video titled Developer Update Introducing Ana, Overwatch, which was one of their usual videos that goes through all of their thoughts and development, so you kind of get more of an understanding on why decisions are being made and their thought process along the way. They're actually really good, and I would suggest checking them out if you haven't yet. But anyway, at the end of this one, after the end slate, there was a few seconds of blackness, then a beep, and some scrambling, which maybe could have just been a stylistic way to end the video, or another code. Does it go deeper? Upon first look, it really doesn't look like anything. It just seems like the beep, the video's over now, kind of outro. But it does go far deeper than that. Someone that goes by Blinry was eventually able to decode it via these steps. Firstly, they paused the image and cut out all of the vertical barcodes from this frame. Then, running them all through the online barcoder in order to discover that they are code 128 encoded. They then realized that those were hexadecimal numbers and converted them into binary, which are the ones and zeros here, and printed them so that the numbers from the nth line form in the nth column. This was Blinry's Ruby code, which resulted in this. After manually reformatting some of it, right justifying the last line and cutting it into 3 columns below one another, they colored the ones black and the zeros white, which gave them a QR code. How insane is that? A little beep beep bop on the screen was freeze framed, distilled, ran through a barcoder, converted the hexadecimals into binary, colored the ones and the zeros different colors, all to see a hidden QR code. This is absolutely insane. Apparently, it was Zapu, the same guy that we mentioned earlier, who had the idea of looking for patterns in the binary, and Six that spotted the QR code markers. So what does the QR code say? It reads, once again, in Spanish. So brace yourself for my epic Spanish skills once more. Estuvo eso facilito, ahora que tengo su atención, déjenme se las pongo más difícil. Which translates in English to, was that easy? Now that I have your attention, let's make things more difficult. What? The developers are just toying with us. They know that their code is being cracked, and they've even taken it outside of the lore, the origin videos, the in-game references, and now there is code in the developers' updates. They have our attention. Ahora que tengo su atención. This can no longer be written off as just a coincidence. Once is a chance, twice is a coincidence, and the third time is a pattern. And who is this meant to be that has our attention? It seems very fourth wall breaking for it to be the developers themselves, so maybe this is a message from, I don't know, Sombra herself? It says, I have your attention, so I assume it would be a single person. This is probably going to be the question I want to know from you guys. Who do you think is the one saying this? I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say down below in the comments because this is very strange. And I really didn't think it was going to go this deep. If you're interested in seeing how they decoded this step by step, Zapu put the chat logs online, which is pretty fascinating to see how they were able to uncover this all one step at a time via their Discord channel. Also, something I didn't even realize when I was making the last video is that in the hero cinematic when Alejandra's running home in excitement after being saved by 76, she rips off a poster that says Las Protectores, and the only thing that's visible behind where that poster used to be is the number 23. What? How did I not see that? Usually, in the comments, you guys comb through every little detail, but for some reason, I didn't see anyone mentioning this, which is surprising. The number 23, if you don't remember, could be a hint that maybe she's the 23rd character, and 23, if you remember, was also the number used as the XORing constant when decoding the previous message in the Origins video, the one that says, Ra, she who has the information has the power. One more interesting thing to add to all of this was that someone went onto the public test realm and took all of the audio files that weren't in the normal game yet and uploaded them. Some of the ones that were particularly interesting were this one. Farah says, there's a hidden enemy here.
There's a hidden enemy here.
Or this one where Widowmaker says, an unseen enemy is near.
An unseen enemy is here.
A lot of people seem to think that these in-game audio samples are references to a future character that is unseen. Someone that isn't seen, but can sometimes be detected. Maybe that character is Sombra that is being referenced, since Sombra, after all, means shadow. If she who has the information has the power, maybe it's a sign of building out the idea of a Sombra that focuses on reconnaissance and stealth rather than healing or damage. A quick update from the future. After I recorded this video, somebody actually did leave a comment that mentioned the 23 on the wall, and I wanted to read their comment because it also includes something very interesting. This was from someone named Gianfranco just a few hours ago. He says, I was thinking about Alejandra's mother being Sombra. I'm a native Spanish speaker and I was watching the animated short Hero again yesterday and I realized two things. First one is that the bakery owned by Alejandra's mother is called Las Tinieblas. That means the darkness. A pretty weird name for an honest bakery. The second one is that at minute 5:43, Alejandro took a paper from the wall and instantly the number 23 pops out. Coincidence? That's where he mentions the 23. But the part that's really interesting to me is that the name of the bakery is the darkness? What? This is going far too deep. Maybe that's the hint of a possible Reaper relationship. It's too vague to say right now, but It could be a hint. Anyway, thanks for that interesting comment. And if you guys notice any details like this, definitely let me know. I know this was a whole lot of information all at once, and you probably have to rewatch parts of this video, but after you think you kind of understand everything I'm saying, riddle me this. Based on everything you know so far, who is the one that's saying, was that easy? Now that I have your attention, let's make things more difficult. Is it Sombra herself? Is it Reaper? Is it one of the developers? Is it Soldier 76? Is it Alejandra's mother? You guys tell me what you think down below in the comments. I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say on this. And if you want to include a sentence or two on why you think it's that person, let me know down there as well. But if not, just a simple name, I think it's May, will be fine. I want to see if anyone can actually guess it this early into the whole mystery. They have our attention. They're going to make things more difficult. So make sure to keep a lookout for the next video on this channel, because I'm probably going to be making a video about any other information that comes out, because this stuff is very interesting to me. After the subscriber purge, I showed you guys how to do notifications on the channel, but a lot of people were still asking me how to do it on mobile. So I'll show you guys real quick before we close out the video. Just follow after me. Do exactly what I'm doing right now. This one's even easier than last time. Step 1. If you're already subscribed, hit this little bell. Step 2. Wait for me to upload the next video and be the very first one to write the word first. Step 3. Feel the power of being the first person to write first surge through your veins and allow it to transform you into Winston. And that's it. It all starts by hitting that little bell. Then you can become a monkey. I mean, a scientist. If you didn't get a chance to check out the previous video about what kind of Pokemon are at Area 51 in Pokemon Go, then just click the video that's on screen right now or hit the I button in the corner of the screen to be taken directly to it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. A place where they hold all the alien Pokemon. So anyway, some guys from Frag Hero actually decided to see what was out there for themselves, which they warn is very dangerous, and that the reporter was an ex-military veteran, so he was very careful not to break any rules, because I guess you can get in a lot of trouble if they catch you out there in an area that you're not supposed to be. So when they got there, you won't believe what they found. An absolutely unbelievable, incredible